Quinn Ewers from Texas will be a Heisman Trophy finalist. Year 3 in the system, chance to put up massive numbers. He plays Florida in November, and then the finale at A&M for Texas. That might be the stage for him to plant the flag and say, here I am, Heisman Trophy me. That might be the deal for him. I love the wide receiver room. I understand they lost Xavier Worthy. They lost Adonai Mitchell. But you bring in Isaiah Bond. You got Silas Bolden. You got Matthew Golden. You got Amari Niblack. You got a lot of dudes that can real deal go for you on the perimeter there. They're going to be in good shape. Quinn Ewers playing in a quarterback-friendly offense where they're going to ask a lot of him, I believe, this year. Going to be a very, very good year for Texas. Going to be a very, very good year for Quinn Ewers. I believe he will be a Heisman Trophy finalist.
Quinn Ewers. Oh, the hype surrounding Quinn Ewers is absolutely surreal. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about why Quinn Ewers is the next superstar quarterback in college football. Texas will now be playing in the SEC this season, as this will be the first time they will ever be doing that. Quinn Ewers is also expected to be a Heisman Trophy finalist this season as well. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Will Quinn Ewers win the Heisman Trophy award this season? I believe it. I believe Quinn Ewers is going to get the job done for Texas, and more importantly for Quinn Ewers' personal career, I believe he will win the Heisman Trophy. And yeah, I said it. Quinn Ewers is going to win the Heisman Trophy this season because you look at how Texas has a stacked roster around him, and you also look at how Quinn Ewers is pretty good in his own right. You look at the weapons Texas has. Yes, they lost a lot of weapons, but they also gained a lot of weapons. Look, this is something one of my coaches once told me. He once said, in order to win championships, you have to have depth. Well, Texas has a lot of depth on their roster right now. Running back, they've got depth. Wide receiver, they've got depth. Tight end, they've got depth. Defense, they're stacked top to bottom. Texas is the most complete team in college football. You look at how the running game, they've got CJ Baxter and Jaydon Blue. Those are two really good players at the running back position. And obviously, Texas is excellent at developing running backs. That's how a guy like Bijan Robinson goes top 8 in the NFL draft. And then you look at how Jonathan Brooks, he ends up going in the second round of the 2024 NFL draft. Texas running backs have been really good with Steve Sarkisian out there coaching football. You look at the wide receivers. Yes, they lost Adonai Mitchell. Yes, they lost Xavier Worthy, but they have a lot of good players at the wide receiver position still. They've got Isaiah Bond, a guy that transferred from Alabama to Texas. That's a major weapon for Texas. You've also got Matthew Golden. He's going to be an absolute stud. And then you got Silas Bolden, another weapon for Texas. I fully expect Quinn Ewers to elevate those wide receiver games. You look at how guys like Isaiah Bond, Silas Bolden, and Matthew Golden are going to have career years catching the football from Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is a smart football player, and more importantly for Quinn Ewers, the guy has a can for an arm. When I watch Quinn Ewers play, I see a lot of Matthew Stafford in him. What I mean by that is that Quinn Ewers has an absolute rocket for an arm. He's not afraid to gunsling the football deep. You look at Quinn Ewers, you're saying to yourself, wow, that is a tough football player. The guy is willing to play through injury. The guy is willing to stand tall in the pocket in order to deliver big throws downfield, and he's also willing to check the ball down as well if needed. Quinn Ewers is a smart football player, and he is a gunslinger. I watch Quinn Ewers play, and I think, man, if he can just put together a great season in 2024, this guy is going to be a lock to be a #1 overall selection for an NFL franchise. I'm surprised Quinn Ewers has not gotten more hype in college football. I think this guy should be one of the favorites to win the Heisman Trophy. And even though I've heard a lot of people talk about Shedeur Sanders as a Heisman Trophy candidate, yeah, Shedeur Sanders has more flash compared to Quinn Ewers, but when you look at the overall game between Quinn Ewers and Shedeur Sanders, it's clear Quinn Ewers is the more polished player. It's clear Quinn Ewers is the better player. It's also more clear that Quinn Ewers just knows what the heck he is doing. You look how Quinn Ewers, like I said, he can throw the ball deep on multiple occasions. You also look at the fact how he is insanely accurate, which is something almost nobody talks about. The only reason why people do not hype up Quinn Ewers is because of his individual statistics. You look at the tape Quinn Ewers puts out there, the guy often plays his best in biggest moments. That's why he was able to dominate the Big 12 championship game. That's why he was able to go toe for toe against Michael Penix and Washington in the college football playoff game. They just ultimately ran out of time. Had Texas had another 20 seconds, they probably would have beaten Washington. That's how good Texas was last year. And you also look at how Texas has continuity as well. You look at the teams that made the college football playoff last year. They don't really have any continuity whatsoever right now. Washington made it to the college football national championship game, but they lost their head coach and quarterback. They also lost a lot of pieces on their team, so they're going to look completely different next season. You also look at how a team like Michigan, they lost Jim Harbaugh as their head coach. They also lost JJ McCarthy. Those are two big losses for Michigan. They also lost Blake Corum and a bunch of seniors, so it's going to be a tough year for Michigan compared to last year. They're going to have to grind it out in order to repeat in the Big Ten championship game. We'll see if Michigan can still be a really good football team in the Big Ten. And then, of course, you also look at Alabama. They lost the GOAT, Nick Saban. Nick Saban retired due to coaching for a very long time. He's in his early 70s. Obviously, that meant Alabama had to go ahead and get themselves a new coach. And I like the guy that they hired. He's from Washington. The guy is an accomplished dude, and he knows what he's doing, but he ain't Nick Saban, which means 3 out of the 4 teams that made the college football playoff last year got worse, and Texas only got better because they were able to retain the head coach. They were able to retain the quarterback. And yeah, they had to change a lot of things in the skill player positions from running back to wide receiver to tight end. But you also look at how Texas defense is still really good. And you also look at how Steve Sarkisian, he knows how to coach up his guys to the best of their abilities. I say Quinn Ewers will be able to win Heisman because he is going to be playing in the toughest conference in football. You also look at how Texas' schedule lines up favorably for them. They don't necessarily play a lot of road games this year. Their schedule for the most part is a piece of cake outside of a handful of games. Obviously, they've got the Red River rivalry game between them and Oklahoma, but I expect Texas to beat Oklahoma this year. I don't think Oklahoma will be nearly as good this year compared to last year. You also look at the fact how Texas has one of the better defenses in college football, as well as having a stacked offense. They also have great coaching in Steve Sarkisian. There is a lot to be excited about if you're a Texas fan, and even if Quinn Ewers doesn't live up to expectations, that's okay. There's also Arch Manning waiting in the wings for Texas. Arch Manning is probably one of the best backup quarterbacks in college football right now. The only reason why Arch Manning is not starting right now is because Quinn Ewers is going to be a really good football player. Quinn Ewers is going to be the #1 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft if he is going to be playing as good as what I think he will be playing. I also think his Heisman moment will officially come after the final week of the regular season when they play against Texas A&M at Texas A&M. And like JD PicKell was saying, that is the time for Quinn Ewers to plant his Heisman flag at midfield on Texas A&M. I'm really excited to see what Texas can do this year. The roster is stacked. Their schedule lines up favorably for them. Honestly, there is no reason for Texas to lose more than 1 game at most this year. The only game they could possibly lose on their schedule this year is Georgia, but even I think they could beat Georgia because they're a good football team. We'll see what happens though. I think Texas, they have the capabilities to go undefeated. They could even win a national championship as well. I'm really excited to see what Quinn Ewers can do. I really believe that he is going to ball out this year, so that's why Quinn Ewers will end up winning the Heisman Trophy award this season, as he is set up for big time success under Steve Sarkisian. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I'm gonna shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @DustinNashTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNashTran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNashTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.